Come in, if you dare. Welcome to a world of the fantastic and the macabre. Welcome to Ghost Stories YYC. Prepare yourself for a tale of terror. Written by Avril Lopez, with art by Avril Lopez. Sweet Dreams, Arielle. Arielle lugged Agus from dawn to dusk like the gloomiest dance. In her mind they shared everything together, but, akin to a vampire, he sucked all her energy. She used to live in a small, warm cottage decorated with colorful feathers and sparkly stones. However, when Agus cast a spell on her, Arielle abandoned everything to be with him. Now, she dwelt inside an ugly and dirty makeshift tent amid the trees. In her eyes, Agus was the most exquisite creature, with thick purple fur and sharp eyes. One night, as Arielle was sailing amidst her dreams, something stroked her. She came out of her tent and gazed at a clear lagoon surrounded by long pines. Agus, standing motionless in front of her, grinned slowly, and Arielle exclaimed, "I have missed you endlessly." In the blink of an eye there were no pines or lagoon left to contemplate. She found herself back again in the grimy tent. That night she heard an unsettling noise, turned around, and saw Agus's face leaning towards the fabric structure. With violent movements he shredded the tent into pieces, leaving no trace of what used to be Arielle's home. She cried desperately and hugged him tight. Agus pushed her away, and from his shaggy fur he pulled a beautiful earring with dangling amethysts. She tried on the shiny earring without hesitation. She opened her lips, but nothing came out. She tried to move her legs, but there was no response. Arielle's body was paralyzed. Her ability to move was slowly revitalized with the passing of time, making it very hard to traverse the forest. Creatures crawled on top of her. Eerie noises loomed and owls hooted at the silver moon. In the middle of a gloomy meadow, long shadows jumped frantically around a campfire. Agus, surrounded by a group of lanky creatures with slimy hair, poured dead animals and herbs into a metal pot. He drank the mixture while the gangling beasts moved sinuously, locking their eyes on Agus. His body melted on the grass after finishing the potion. Chunks of purple fur grew everywhere, and his laughter resonated through the mountains and trees. He emerged triumphantly. The tall creatures pranced and danced ecstatically, rumbling the ground with every spin and twirl. Agus spun around and stared at Arielle. She hesitated, failed to catch her balance, and fell downhill. Rolling down while branches and small rocks smashed against her head, her body sped out of control, getting lost in the thickness of the forest. Arielle collided with a large and hairy object. Her face had a pale green tone. Covered with dust and twigs, she looked up, staggered, and saw a massive figure standing in front of her. Agus grabbed her by the shirt and shook her in the air repeatedly. In the distance, a floral bush quivered in a violent manner. Everyone looked towards the trembling shrub, and a tiny chihuahua jumped out from between the leaves. Agus let out an obnoxious laugh as Rita, the chihuahua, ran excitedly towards Arielle. With a giant smile on his face, Agus muttered, "Now you will have what you always wanted. We will be one for all eternity." Agus's body became transparent with a gelatinous consistency. Arielle watched her arms and legs turn into jelly, melding with Agus's body. She jolted, trying to free herself from the gooey soup. In that moment, Rita glided in like a torpedo entering the viscous mixture. The little chihuahua barked furiously. "Arf! Arf! Arf! Only you know how to save yourself!" Arielle found her strength and ripped the delicate earring from her earlobe. There was a big explosion, and everything turned into darkness. Arielle opened her eyelashes swiftly, looked down, and moved her legs inside the bedsheets. She sat on the edge of her bed, caressing her skin softly. There was no viscosity coming out or pieces of Agus glued to her body. Suddenly, a small object crawled beneath her sheets. She lifted her hand, ready to smack it. Rita appeared from the soft bedding, and Arielle sighed, patting the little dog, and fell asleep. The only sound that could be heard was Arielle's snoring, floating delicately around the dormitory. The ground cracked, releasing a bright purple light. 2 giant hands arose from the fissure, shattering everything around. Arielle's bed collapsed into the purple glimmer. It was Agus, showing his big grin. Arielle grabbed Rita tight while she held herself from the headboard. Agus blew fetid breath at Arielle, opening his jaws to reveal a heap of gigantic teeth popping up like snowy mountains. She tried to escape, but Agus created a barrier with his hands, eliminating all possibility of running away. She woke up, finding her favorite stuffy wrapped around her arms. The inanimate object looked at her with a petrified smile. Arielle, with contempt, exclaimed, "Every time I sleep next to you, I have nightmares. You are not my friend anymore." With great momentum, Arielle tossed Agus into the garbage can, smirked, and went back to sleep with a proud sense of relief and satisfaction.